Welcome to the Self-Publishing School podcast. This is the podcast to listen to if you're an aspiring writer or an author who wants to be more successful. On this show, you'll learn how to write and launch a book successfully, all from the top authors and people just like you who are doing it at the highest level. I'm your host, Chandler Bolt, the founder of Self-Publishing School, the author of the book called Published, and the CEO of selfpublishing.com. For free training on how to publish a book that sells 10,000 copies, go to selfpublishing.com/free training. Hey, Chandler Bolt here, and joining me today is Anik Singal. Now, Anik is the founder and CEO of Lurn, Inc. He is widely considered by the industry as one of today's most successful digital publishing marketers. Recognized by Inc. 500 and Business Week, his digital publishing businesses help contribute to over $100 million in online sales. Now, today, Anik teaches people how to create their own online passion-based businesses, and he's trained over 250,000 students around the world. Anik, welcome. So great to have you here.
Thanks, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Welcome, everybody, and can't wait to get started and teach what I know.
Awesome. Well, hey, Anik, first off, what I want to do is just kind of go back to the beginning and just let us know, you've got this massive successful company, right? Why write a book? What was the purpose behind that first book?
So, all right, why write a book? This is a very interesting question. I could probably go for 2 days just answering this. There's a few reasons. Now, I built my entire company. I never wrote a book. What I did write a lot of growing up for the last, I've been doing this for almost 14 years in this business. I wrote a lot of free reports, right? I wrote a lot of training that I put on the internet. I never wrote a book. And initially, it was one of those dreams. You know, I want to do a New York Times best-selling book. I want to be an author. I want to walk into a bookstore and see my book on the shelves. And that was it. There was no marketing behind it. There was no thought process behind it. It was just, I guess, for the fame of it. I just want to be able to say I wrote a book. And, you know, that comes with a level of credibility. It's funny, but today anybody can write a book. It's literally so easy to get it printed and created. But the credibility it brings you is still like as if you wrote the book 50 years ago, you know, when it was difficult to do. So when I started journeying out for the process and started looking into what it would take, I had a major mental block. I was scared. I've done everything in my life. I have done everything I can. And the one thing that has scared me the most is writing a book. And I would find all kinds of excuses and reasons and things to put it off. And I knew that I was just scared of what if I write a book and it sucks? What if nobody likes it? You know, what if it doesn't get to the bookstores? What if it doesn't get on a shelf? What if it's not a New York Times bestseller? And what if someone says something bad about my book? I get, you know, on my courses and my social media and everything. I mean, I have millions of followers. I get bad things said about me every day. It doesn't bother me. But if someone said anything bad about my book, you know, it would really hurt my feelings. So I really let that get in the way. And then finally one day I put my stake in the ground and I said, that's it. You know, I'm done. I'm not going to be fear-driven. I tell all my students not to let themselves go through this. I'm not going to go through this. So what I started trying to do is figure out all the process, right? How do you write a book? How does it get published? How do you get to a New York Times bestseller? And that it was in that discovery that I realized, hey, you know what? Your book has got to have a deeper purpose. Otherwise, it won't make sense. If all you're trying to do is hit these bestseller lists and all of that, you could go bankrupt trying to do that and funding all the PR behind it. But if you use your book as an actual, if you use it as a lead generation tool, if you use it as a credibility builder, but you have a funnel behind it to make money, then you can treat your book with something that's marketing, and you can put money into it and you can grow it. That was a major turn that I had. And suddenly I didn't want to just write a book because I wanted the credibility. I wanted to write a book because it truly serves as, in my opinion, the best like tripwire offer, the best first thing to give to a customer that sets them up as a lifetime customer for you.
Love it. Now, obviously, I want to dive into the funnels and all that fun stuff and kind of the marketing and back end stuff. But first, just take us through kind of what it was like. Okay, so you put your stake in the ground. You got over that fear of committing to the book and of doing the book. Then what was the process like of actually writing, marketing, and publishing the first book?
Now, that's a great question, because that was a big part of the battle. So again, let's go back to the Anik that has this mental block about writing a book. So I declared that I'm going to write this book, this wonderful book that you see behind me, Circle of Profit, and declared it to everybody. I had a name. I knew what I want to do. And what I decided to do is I said, you know what? Because I have this mental block, using the old rules of NLP, I'm going to find a way to do this in a environment that I'm comfortable. Might not be the best book I ever write, but it'll be a book. Once I've written one, I'll be able to turn them out one after the other after the other. It's just the first one, right? That momentum you need. So I decided I had a big product launch coming up, and I thought, tell you what, I always write free reports for my product launches to generate the buzz, to generate the leads. What if I just write a really long free report? All right. And so I literally changed the inner voice, and I didn't call it a book anymore. You're just writing a really long inner report. And of course, my subconscious still knew it was a book. So as the launch started to creep up and come, and I remember I was traveling through India with my wife. We were visiting family, and we were handling some of our nonprofit work down there. And next thing I know, my team is messaging me saying, do you realize the pre-launch begins in about 10 days? We don't have anything from you. And I thought, ooh, you're right, because I haven't written anything yet. So I took 5 days off. Okay, I don't recommend anyone do it this way, by the way. It just happened to be the way I did it. It worked, but man, was it stressful. So I asked my wife for 5 days. I said, go be with your family, go do what you got to do. I'm going to sit in a lounge at the hotel, and I'm just going to write. And I'm just going to put music on. I'm going to put headphones on. I'm just going to write. And I'll leave it to the editor to make it perfect. I'm just going to pound away. I'm going to write. And since then, I've found easier ways to write books. But yeah, that's what I did for 5-6 days. I just wrote and I wrote, and I loved what was coming out. After that, I went back through it. I reformatted. I added some things around, handed it over to an editor who did the fastest turnaround I've ever seen anyone ever do. She didn't sleep for 3 or 4 days, turned the book back around. We already had the cover done, and before we knew it, we were, how did we publish it? Well, we put a Kindle version together. We got it up on CreateSpace, and voila, we had a book. It was as simple as that. It was self-published. So this book is not published by anyone other than myself. Yet we've sold just this year, in 2016, this year as I'm recording this, we have sold, I think, close to 50,000 books this year, completely ourselves. So who says you have to have a publisher to move books? No, we've got a lot of people buying it. So this is the second edition. The second edition was written a lot more calmly. It was written over time. I went through each chapter, and I really decided what I wanted to write. But we are in the process of writing 2 other books right now. And now we got the process down. We outline, we create bullet point by bullet point. And then I literally grab my phone, okay? And I grab this great little Bluetooth, and I also download an app that allows me to record my voice. I walk around my office, walk around my house, and I speak into it on the topics that I want to, that I've written down on the outline. Take that, transcribe it, boom, organize it. Sometimes I might give it to an editor or a ghostwriter to fine tune it. Otherwise, I'll do it myself. And so the writing process has become much easier, just like I had thought. Once I write my first one, the next ones will just churn right out. That's exactly what's happening. Publishing, we're doing self-publishing. Now we've actually figured out how to become a publisher. And so Lurn will actually become a full-blown physical book publisher as well, with distribution rights all over the world to all the bookstores. And so we're working on that. So we're focusing internally because we understand marketing. We understand funnels. We understand how to get our cost per book printing down. So I hand all that responsibility to another company when we can do it ourselves.
Now, what's the app that you use, that you were saying that you use on your phone for transcription?
That's a great question. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you. It is called Recorder Plus. It's like a few bucks. There's also, if you plan on getting it transcribed, rev.com is who we use for our transcriptions. It's rev.com. They offer you a free app that'll do the exact same thing. And what's neat is you can actually use the app to directly upload into rev.com.
Got it. That's good. Now, for your first book, it sounds like you went from literally 0 to selling the first copy in what, 10 to 15 days?
Yeah, not even. Yeah, from 0, meaning not a word on the paper, other than we had a cover done, we had a title, to getting that first book sold. Yeah, it was about 11, 12 days. It was nuts. I wouldn't recommend anyone do it that way, though. It was the craziest 10 days of my life. But sometimes, you know what? Sometimes that's the only way we can get past our blocks, is to do a massive bum rush, as I call it, at the end, where you don't have time to be afraid. So you just do. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you did it. And now it's not so scary.
What were the biggest lessons learned from that kind of pressure cooker process?
Don't ever do it that way. First thing. Secondly, sitting down and writing from scratch on a blank piece of paper is, everyone has writer's block. We talk about it. It's a lot harder than creating an outline and then doing a dictation and transcribing the dictation and then using that as your base and you know what happens with me? The transcript that I get back, if I were to actually do track changes, the whole document would be read. I don't even leave a word on it. But do you know how much quicker I bang through the whole thing just because something is on the page? And what I eventually have on the page at the final version may not even be remotely close to what I had transcribed. It's something about the mental trick behind it. I don't know. Just gets me going. And something that would have taken me, if I started with a blank screen and I had to type it all out, it could have taken me 6, 7, 8 hours of actually writing, minus, I haven't even looked at the fact that I would find lots of hours of wasted time just trying to not do it. But when I do it and it's something on the screen already because I had recorded it, I'm talking 2 hours max. So you can literally shave off 60 or 70% of the time just by taking that extra step to transcribe it first.
That's fantastic. That's a great tip. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit towards the marketing side of things. And you mentioned that 50,000 copies of the book so far this year. And then obviously this is the second edition. So walk us through how you've been able to sell so many copies of a self-published book and some of the things that you've done to really move a lot of copies.
Well, firstly, books sell themselves. It's pretty crazy. If you can nail a great title and have a great hook, there's something about us as humans that I don't know, and I don't know if anyone knows, but since we were children, books mesmerize us. Since we were children, we're given a lot of value to books. I mean, think about it. When you go to school, what do you need with you? Books, textbooks. I mean, whether it be books or textbooks, books. Books have this great credibility, and they're directly tied to knowledge. So if I said, here's an online course, I'll sell it to you for $7.97 versus here's a book, I'll give it to you for free with $7.97 shipping and handling. We've tested this. The book always wins by a large volume, which is intense. I mean, you got to really think about that. So when it comes to selling books, you've got the odds stacked in your favor. Okay, people love buying books. People love books. Now, it's a whole other difference if they read it or not, but they love buying them. And so firstly, that was there. Secondly, we put together a great affiliate launch. So what we did is we put together an entire product launch where we tied together the book and selling the book with something that we wanted, which was selling our higher ticket programs. And we made it so it was beneficial to the affiliate to do the whole thing. So they will sell the book for us and they'll send us traffic to it and they'll sell the program for us that's on the back end. Everybody wins. Everybody makes more money. We get to sell a lot more books and build this great everlasting relationship with all these new customers. And then beyond that, Chandler, we've tested all kinds of other marketing. But I mean, this launch alone, between the launch and the trickle effect, it was 35,000 books. Between and what happened is so many of our affiliates were doing so great. Then when the launch finished, they said, hey, can we keep promoting? So sure, we'll keep your links open. And so we've sold thousands and thousands of books since the actual event, the launch event was over. It's been over for a while. And yet we're still selling so many copies of the book. So it's about getting traffic to the page. Trust me, once you do it, you'll start to realize, wow, people love buying books. They just love it.
And so you're talking about, I guess this is very different from the way that a lot of people self-publish books, especially which is if they're going the Amazon route or the normal distribution. So you're talking about actually hosting it on your page, sending them someone to that page, giving them a free book. All they have to do is pay shipping. Is that kind of the basis of what you're setting up here? And then what happens after that allows you to recoup your costs for giving away that book for free?
Yeah, absolutely. My book, I'm not even sure if it's currently listed on Amazon. I believe it is now. Again, we meant to, since the launch is over, we forgot. I love Amazon and I think it's a great place and I think everybody should use it. But to build a business by using other people's resources and other people's networks to distribute my content is not something that sounds to me like a safe long-term decision. So yes, Amazon's awesome. I'd love to distribute on Amazon, but Amazon's not nice enough to share all the information about the customer with me. If I get my book published by some other publisher, they go out and sell 1 million books. That's great. No doubt. It's great for my brand. But could I please have the 1 million email addresses, physical addresses, names, phone numbers of the people who bought my book? Not a chance. And I know that there's so much more money and there's so much more growth and so much more just scale in having that data. I want to own the data. That's why I want people to come to my website and buy from me. And for us, we'll use a warehouse. We'll use the warehouse to ship the book to you, and you'll get it in the same time, and everyone will be happy, and it'll be great. But we got to keep the data. Plus, if someone goes to Amazon and buys a book, can you upsell them? Can you immediately offer them additional programs? You can't. Whereas when you come to my page and you buy my book, I can offer you upgrades. I can offer you additional training, which not only makes it better for me from a monetary standpoint, but it's also facilitating the experience for my customer. I'm able to give them higher level of education and more options and more upgrades versus in Amazon, they get what they get. They get a book, they get the book. So no, don't get me wrong. I'm still in the plans of, having worldwide distribution, being in bookstores. It can't hurt once you've already done the work to have more distribution. But I'll tell you right now, those who buy from my website, I get 100% of their information. Those who will buy from all over these other sources, maybe 5% of them actually go through the effort of actually looking me up and coming to my website and opting in for something I have. And so, yeah, I love to have them on my website. Now, you asked what happens right after they buy the book. Well, as soon as they buy the book, I'm going to have upsells that allow me to monetize so that I can pay for the marketing of the book. When the book is being sold for $7.97, I'm actually breaking even. But the cost of the book and shipping, I might be losing 50, 60 cents. But now if you throw on marketing cost, I'm going to be losing a lot of money. Let's say, for us, we pay $10 per book sold to our affiliates. CPA commission, straight shot. Here's $10. Thank you very much. So how can we afford to do that? How could we possibly afford to spend $10 in marketing plus $8 in fulfillment when we're only collecting $8? We're going negative $10. And currently we sell over 1,000 books a day. I'm sorry, $10,000 a day in losses is a lot of money for any company to absorb. The way we do that is immediately after you buy the book, you see an upsell. That upsell converts at a certain rate. We've tested it like crazy. And what ends up happening is the average book buyer who's buying our book, and this differs quite drastically from different sources of traffic, but when we have affiliates promoting our book, the average book buyer is transacting about $25 or $26 before they leave our cart. So it's right around 25 plus change. So let's just say it's 25. Let's redo the math. 25 minus $10 in marketing, it's 15. 15 minus $8 in expense of fulfilling the book. So now we're down to $7. So I have made a $7 profit while picking up a buying lead. Remember that. There's one thing that you get for giving away a free report where someone traded an email. It is a whole nother ball game when somebody put their credit card on the table and bought something from you, even if it was a free book plus shipping and handling. So now I'm actually making money to acquire quality leads. And that means I've got a marketing campaign I can infinitely scale. I can take it. Our goals are to sell 5,000 books a day. Why not? We make so much money selling them. And then after that, we take them and we warm them up for 10 days. We give and the other reason for selling our book ourselves is we immediately give you online access to the book. Why? Internationally, it takes weeks to get the books to someone's hand if you want to do it in a cost-effective way. And during that time, we don't want them to wait. So we give them online access because we also want them to engage with the content so that they have an opportunity to upgrade to our other offers. So for 10 days, we say, look, get in there, read the book, get online, engage, get started. We'll do some free training. We'll send them videos during that time, warm them up. And about 10 days in, we're going to do some webinars with them and we're going to present them with our higher ticket offers. Works like a charm. They love it. They have a great relationship with us by that point anyways. And then every bit of traffic we're sending to our bigger, higher end funnels, there's no acquisition cost there. It's free. We've already paid for it.
Hey, Chandler Bolt here. I hope you're loving this episode so far. It's time to go from inspiration to implementation. All right, so if you've learned something, we want to help you implement what you've learned with your book. So what I want you to do right now is go to selfpublishing.com/schedule, book a publishing consultation with one of the experts on my team. We'll talk about your goals for your book, your dreams, your challenges, your next steps, and we'll start putting together a plan. All right, so go to selfpublishing.com/schedule, book a call with the team. Let's see how we can help with your book. It's time to implement. Love it. That's fantastic. And that makes perfect sense. Now, I know you're a big numbers guy like I am. And so you've obviously you were just breaking out some of the numbers, and you've obviously done your homework on these specific numbers. So I guess one question that a lot of people might be asking is, why not just charge for the book instead of giving it away for free plus shipping on your site?
Because the strongest word ever invented in the history of marketing is the word free. You will see a drastic change in conversions. If I simply said my book costs $7.97 versus saying the book is free and just pay me $7.97 shipping, you will see that the free offer will win any day and twice on a Sunday. That's the simple reason why. I don't need to charge for my book. I want this book to be in as many hands as possible. I want it to be a viral tool for me. I want it to get out there. I want as many people buying it as possible. And if I start to charge for it, I know I'm going to get less people buying it. I might make a little bit more money net profit per book. But I'm a businessman. I don't look at just my numbers per book. I look at my numbers across the board, and nothing can beat my funnel right now, where I'm giving the book away for free plus shipping and handling and making my money on the back end and focusing on getting as many people to engage with my brand and my book as humanly possible. So the short answer is just because the word free is the most powerful word ever created in marketing.
Got it. Now, is this book funnel, is this the highest converting funnel that you've ever had? Or are there other funnels that have outperformed this?
Nope. This is by far the highest converting funnel we've ever had. As a matter of fact, I slapped myself on the face for not having found this earlier. And most of what we will do moving forward will always have a book involved in it because, it's not just the highest converting. Books create movement. Books create tribes. Books create this invisible force that I can't explain. I can't describe it. It's this invisible movement that I can't describe. And it's that movement that you can't do with free reports or with anything else. It's a book. It makes you into an expert. It gives you authority. It gives you a following. It gives you people that quote you. I mean, it just, you want to talk about building a true brand and really dominating your industry. Books are the only way to do it.
Got it. Now, can you break down the sequence of offers and kind of what that looks like? And then I really want to dive into because I know you've tweaked this, I know you've tested it, so we can dive into some lessons learned there. But first, can we kind of just break down okay, someone gets the free book and they pay shipping. What's the next offer that they're made? And then what are the sequence of offers that they get on the back end to equal that $25 a book?
Sure. You'd be surprised. It's not very much. So free book. And then they're given what we call a bump offer. And I learned this from Russell Brunson. So hats off to him because he gave me all his data. And, when you got great data and you've got a great funnel, you copy it. And there's no reason to change it. Of course, respectfully, made it into our own. But book, bump means it's not an upsell. It's literally a box this big that has a few words, and you just check it. They just have to check it and adds $47. Now, we did test the pricing, and I've seen other people use 27, 37. We actually found 47 to outconvert monetary-wise. It made us the most money. So we stuck to 47. So you got $7.97, $47 bump, and then they hit the cart, and that's it, okay? So they transact. Then they see a $197 upsell. Now, we tested that too. We tested all kinds of things. There are all kinds of payment plans, and $197 monetarily. And again, I want to tell you, if you're in a different space, your health, fitness, weight loss, dating, all these other spaces, you can't use the pricing as I said, because every industry, every niche is specific and sensitive to pricing in different ways. You have to test it. But if you're in any space where the concept of invest and return is there, like stocks and internet marketing and business development, entrepreneurship, yes, I think you can use these prices. So book, bump of 47, 197 upsell. If they say no, 97 downsell, done. That's it. That's the $25 funnel, $25 per book funnel. Nothing new and unique there. Seriously, I'm not the one who created that. I got that data from Russell, who tested the heck out of it, and other people have done as well. We will now be modifying it. We will be making changes. In July, we're going to be adding the opportunity for people to subscribe to a continuity program. So there will be a free trial plus continuity in there. We'll test it. We'll see how we like it, how our customers engage with it. But we did find that just looking at the numbers alone could significantly increase our total compensation. I mean, like from the book, it would be a game changer if we do it right and the customers are also engaging with it appropriately. That's going to be a big key factor. Now, after that, really they become a part of a funnel that lasts a 1 month for us, but it starts literally a little over 10 days and a little under 2 weeks after they bought the book. Then the first part of it, so the way this book is split, the book is split into 2 phases, okay? So our funnel kind of matches the way the book goes. So it would really make a lot of sense for someone reading the book. Phase 1 is all about email marketing and building income as an affiliate. Phase 2 is all about developing your own digital product and your own information product. So when you go through our funnel, 10 days, it's exactly a little like around 12 days, you get your first webinar where we teach you how to do email marketing and how to be an affiliate marketer. And we're very clear to say, this is mastery of phase 1 of the Circle of Profit. So there's a series of webinars and events that take place. And so we position that presentation and we pitch for about 10 days and give everybody who bought the book a chance to upgrade. After which we wait another week, about 8-9 days, where we do content and we prep everybody up and we keep teaching them on, hey, what's phase 2? Well, phase 2 is developing your information products and all the different processes there. So actually, if someone just follows our funnel afterwards, they're kind of reading the book as they go. So we're not just pitching and selling, we're providing value. Every day we send videos, and as they watch those videos, they're actually basically getting the book in video format. And now what happens after the first pitch, then we do 8 days, we warm them up for phase 2. Then we have our second program called Publish Academy, where we do a series of webinars and we promote Publish Academy to them to get them in the door of that program. That's how much we have prospered so far. I mean, we are going to progress that funnel even more in the near future, but already at this point, it's crazy. The numbers are nuts, and we're still working on the technology to automate it properly. We've not been able to do that yet. It's going to be done in about a week from the time I'm filming this with you. But without that said, the numbers are so huge. It's nearly impossible. To lose money on our book sales. As long as, again, remember, the right title, the right hook, the right niche. You can't take any book, any title and do it. People are going to want the book, right? So that's, as long as you hit that, you follow the existing sales page formats and funnels, it's a sure thing.
Love it. That's very helpful. And I've been taking a bunch of notes over here on my end for just the breakdown of your book funnel. So it sounds like we've got the free plus shipping offer. Then we've got the $47 order form bump. Then we've got the $197 upsell. If they say no to that, then there's $97 downsell. Then they've got some time off, some content, some things like that. What were the price points on the other things that are offered on the back end?
Both are $1,497, so $1,497.
Got it. So 2 different separate offers. Do you have any numbers in terms of what you've seen that add to the average per book value? I know that's kind of hard to trace back.
Not right off the top of my, not right off my hand, but I will tell you that about 6% of those who buy the book are buying the first offer. And unfortunately, I don't have the second numbers yet because we didn't automate that part of the process yet. So we were still basically doing it manually. Every few weeks, we'll do an event just to kind of facilitate old book buyers. But we did get the numbers for the first one pretty concrete. So 6% for a $1,500 product, though, you can reverse engineer and figure out the math from that. Let's say we had 100 sales of books, 6 would buy a $1,500 program. That's what, about $7,500 if I'm not doing my math wrong. Is that right? $7,500 for 100 book buyers. I mean, you don't even need to do the math. The numbers are insane. It adds a ridiculous amount to your book value, which the more it adds, the more you can invest in selling that book, the more you can afford to invest in marketing. And the more you invest in marketing, the more you scale, the more books you sell, the bigger your brand, the more you dominate, the more product you sell. I mean, you can see how the snowball starts. It's insane. And it's all because of a book. That's it.
Now, you've obviously tested and tweaked this just a ton. You talked about kind of the testing price points and different things like that. What were some of the most revealing things that you found out from these tests, from this test? Like, what was the most eye-opening thing and some of the lessons that you learned from testing so diligently on this funnel?
Oh yeah, we had some cool ones. So one was like dropping the price doesn't always mean your conversions increase by proportion. I've learned that lesson before, but it was just kind of like maybe it was time for me to get a reminder. So going from $47 for the bump to 37, we literally lost like, I don't know, 7 or 8% in conversion by going up. But look at that. We went up by almost like 25% more, like 28, 29% in price, and just lost like 7% conversions. I'll take that all day long because I'm making more money. We also found that with our upsell video, we tried a few different versions. And what the fancier we made the video, the lower the conversion. So the conversion that worked the best was this like ugly white video with black text scrolling across it, converted like crazy. So we left it alone. Then we also found we were playing with that 197 number. So what we found is this. I'm used to doing funnels where we sell $37, $47, $57 products in the front end. And when you do that, you'll typically get like a 25 or a 30% conversion on your upsell number one if you've done a good job. So I don't know. That's what I'm used to. So in my head, I thought, well, that's what we're going to have here. And when we first launched it, our upsell number one was only converting at like 11 or 12%. And I thought, oh no, like I've failed. And I didn't even focus on, hey, what's the number per book? I just thought, no, this conversion number needs to go up. So I drove my team nuts for 3 weeks. Every day was like new versions. And we were just trying everything we could. And we just couldn't break the mold of like 12, 13%. We just couldn't get above it. Finally, I realized, I thought, you know what? I'm comparing these numbers. I'm not comparing apples to apples. So someone who buys a $37 to $57 or even more up front is a very different mentality buyer. They're buying a course. They're putting a lot more money down. Here I'm dealing with someone who literally just wants a book. Like they just want a free book. And so they're not as committed or ready to upgrade. And as long as my per book number is great, my revenue per book, and supports the marketing of it, then what do I care? But I fought that battle. I tried to get that number up as high as I could. I called some friends as well who were doing this, and I said, what are your numbers? And it turned out my numbers were perfectly in line with theirs. And then they started laughing and said, we've done exactly what you're trying to do. Stop. This is the optimized funnel. This is the best it'll do. And now, once I did, we scaled it. It's great. So it's more than good enough. But I was amazing to find that you don't have to be nifty to convert. You don't have to. You sometimes might want to raise the price instead of decreasing it. If you want to see an increase in revenue per action, raise the price instead of going the other way. That was something that we concretely proved.
Got it. Now, obviously, a lot of this was affiliate traffic based. Have you been able to get this work for Facebook cold traffic, and what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. We have made it work for Facebook and other forms of traffic. It's a little new to us, so it's almost something that we're still discovering and learning. So I haven't mastered it to any degree to be able to teach it, but absolutely, it's working. What you'll find with Facebook, what we're finding, and what we're struggling with a little bit, but also understanding and learning how to navigate around it is, you'll make a video or you'll make an ad and it'll do great for you for the first week or 2 weeks. It'll rock it out. And here you're going to sit coasting back thinking, oh man, that's it. I'm a multimillionaire now. But 2 weeks later, it just starts to dive down. The results start to go and they wither. So it's because your ad reaches exhaustion. You've got to learn with Facebook. What we've learned is the mastery is not creating the best ad and the best sales page. It's actually learning how to scale an ad. It's learning all the different intricacies of what Facebook targeting, what they allow with their targeting and their pixel optimizations and all the different kinds of ads. And that if you combine all that knowledge, you can actually take a winning campaign and scale it so that it remains winning for some time. But we have found, firstly, the first challenge with Facebook is you've got to make sure your page is compliant. And that took us a long time to figure out. We had a couple of accounts shut down because of things that we said that we didn't know. We were making mistakes. Now we've mastered that. So we understand what Facebook likes. Facebook loves book offers. Just got to make sure your marketing is compliant. And then beyond that, it's about figuring out what's the right targeting you want to start with. I like to start. there's two ways of thinking about Facebook targeting. I like to start super narrow, right where I think we're going to win, and slowly grow outwards. There's other people out there who have big budgets, right? Like big companies will come out and they'll do the shotgun approach. So what they'll do is they lay a huge net, right? And my friend actually, Adrian, calls this scorch the earth method. So they lay a huge net and they burn the field, and then they come back and see what's working and they hone in on that. But that's only for people that got a lot of money that they want to waste and blow away. I like to start really, really zoned in on a particular target audience that's going to work, and then I like to scale out. But I'll tell you right now, absolutely it works. You can sell these on Facebook. We're now learning how to sell it on email media. We're also learning how to sell it through CPA traffic, both very new to us. Well, email media, new to us when it comes to selling books. We've always done opt-ins with it for a long time. CPA, we've not started yet. We're just gearing up for that. And then Google, we're dealing with Google. We'll be selling tons of books on Google. Again, dealing with compliance. Google's compliance team is about twice as hard as Facebook. So, when you're in our niche, or even in most niches that involve digital publishing, you're likely to say things that they will perceive as claims. And so you just got to work through that with their teams. But absolutely, again, it comes back to figure out what you can spend per book. For us, our number is $15. We like to still stay in profit per book sold. So at $15 acquisition cost, we know we can do it. Maximum, we know that we can spend. We have a $8 fulfillment fee, and usually when we're doing media buying, the book, it's still about $25. That's the average. So 25 minus 8, is $17. So we can spend technically up to 17. I like to tell my team, don't spend more than 15. So we always keep a little margin there to cover ourselves for cash flow.
Makes sense. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you diving into that book funnel. I know for me, the best way to learn book funnels is to go through book funnels, right? And so I know when you and I were chatting, I've been through Russell Brunson's, Tony Robbins, Ryan Levesque, Perry Marshall, Anik Singal, like all these people's book funnels. So I'm really excited to go through your new book funnel and just kind of just dive in it, because we're going to be using a book funnel this fall. So obviously a lot of the stuff that we talked about here will be super relevant, and learned a lot of great stuff from that. And I'd encourage you, if you're watching this and you're interested in learning a book funnel, go through book funnels, right? Check out Anik's, check out other people's book funnels, see how they're working. Because if you want to do this for yourself, the best way to do that is to learn exactly from what people are doing. So that's awesome. Now you just briefly mentioned about you guys starting a publishing company to get distribution. Can you talk to us a little bit on that? Why is that something that you want to do? Why not just find a publisher? And what do you see that doing for the future of your company?
That's a great question. And actually, I wouldn't suggest this for everybody. The why is just more related to our internal goals. We see a lot of scale and ability given what we're looking to do in the future. It would serve us very well to become a publisher because of our business model. However, if someone is out there who says, look, I want to publish a book a year, no, you absolutely don't go looking into becoming your own publisher. As a matter of fact, the only way to become your own publisher is you have to publish at least 5 authors. You have to publish at least 5 independent authors for all the major like Wall Street journals and all these guys to consider you a publisher. So that's more of a personal choice for us. Why would we do it internally and do it ourselves? Quite honestly, I'm an entrepreneur. And so I like to answer that with saying, because I can. We think we can do it better. We can retain control. We can retain data. We know what we're doing on the back end, and we know we can serve the buyers a lot better. And so for us, it would serve our business model greatly by officially being a publisher. If I didn't have that interest in it, if I didn't have a business model that needed it, I would absolutely tie up with a great publishing company and let them handle all of that. But the other reason is, by the way, for me to be able to sell my book online on my website, give it away for free. Give it away for free and shipping and handling, and give online access to it while retaining rights to all the customers and marketing them other things in the future. And that's not an easy discussion to have with a publisher. I mean, they're not gonna, publishers usually want the rights to your book. So now all of a sudden you wrote it, they own it, and you're asking them for permission to do stuff with what you wrote. That doesn't settle well with me, just because I'm a marketer and I know what else I can do with that data and with the book. But there's a lot of great publishing houses now, the smaller ones that got great distribution, have great credibility, and they're getting very, very relaxed on those kinds of rules because they know that in order to fight the self-published world, they have to. And so today it's the best day to be an author. You've got the power as an author in your hands. You control the negotiation, and not the other way around, like it was 10 years ago.
100% agree with that. Now, would you ever consider traditionally publishing a book?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, one of our main interests for becoming a publisher, we will absolutely be publishing books the traditional route, 6 months ahead, declare the dates, get your distribution.
Okay, I guess I'll clarify. Would you ever consider?
What's that?
I said, sorry, I'll clarify. Would you ever consider traditionally publishing with another publisher, or is that just like you just decided, hey,
no, absolutely, we will. We will. I'm actually working on a book right now that we will be working with a traditional publisher. That book has a different purpose, has a different meaning to my life. It's not about the monetization or the revenue. It's about reach. And that one, we are working with a top class publisher with a few of them right now. We're trying to sign a deal. And that one's going to go all over the world, and it's going to be published by someone who knows what they're doing, and I will give them the rights. But I have no intention of monetizing or building funnels off of that because that's not the purpose of the book.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay. When we're in the home stretch here, a couple final questions. So I saw that you got a video testimonial from Robert Kiyosaki and also from Les Brown, which these are in some of the Facebook ads that are following me around the internet, right? And I saw them, and these are obviously two very Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Les Brown, just motivational speaker. He's the guy that I'm like listening to in my shower in the morning, getting fired up, all that stuff. So my question is, how did you get endorsements from them? Because that's huge.
Time, patience, credibility, proof, street fights. I mean, you name it. They're great guys. We've got more of them coming. We got Bob Proctor recently sent his endorsement in, and we have another huge one coming here in mid-June, which we can't really announce yet, but it's a big one. And others, tons of others coming in every day. It's funny, once you get one, it's a lot easier to get the other ones, right? That's a resounding theme here. Once you do the first one, the rest is so much easier. But with Robert Kiyosaki, it was a string of fortunate events. I don't believe in luck, so I never say that was luck, but we were in the right place. We met people from his team. We really hit it off. We had a great synergy. Next thing I knew, I was sitting next to Robert Kiyosaki. It was really it's a blur. And Robert Kiyosaki, that's the first book I ever read, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I mean, I was shaking when he came in the room. By the way, I've met celebrities, some of the biggest ones in the world. I've met 3 people who are on People Magazine's most powerful people in the world, top 25 list. And I've never shook. I've never even sweat. I've never even had a dry mouth. Robert Kiyosaki walked in the door and I wanted to run the hell out or jump out the window. I was freaking out because it was his book that got me to become an entrepreneur. It was his book that got me to get off my butt. I knew I had an inkling. It was his book that proved to me that that's what I wanted to do. He walked in the door and he had the book in his hand. And that's a whole nother feeling I actually asked him to sign my book, which was the funniest thing that he laughed about. But he went through it. And the first thing he said to me is he said, I teach theory. I've been doing this for many years. My time is over. We need more people like you. I teach theory. You teach people how to do it. You are the future of entrepreneurship training, and I want to help you get there. So he took a really personal interest in me just because he believes in what we're doing. He believes in our company, and he sat down and that testimonial was actually completely organic. It wasn't planned. We were shooting videos. We had some other things in plan, but that was just something. Boom. He said, I want to shoot this. And it came up, and it's been really, really effective for us, of course, as a marketing tool, as a credibility tool. And since then, I've come to learn, ask and you shall receive. So when I meet people and I become friends with them, I say, could you please hold this book up and make a video about it? I'm not scared of it. Honest to God, Chandler, before, if you had met with me years ago, I would be so nervous. But, my friends laugh at me now. Every video I do, even if I'm doing a testimonial video for someone, my book's in the back. It's like a placeholder, I prop it everywhere. Because why not? I wrote it. I'm proud of it. And I believe this book can change lives. So when I'm walking, travel, I have copies with me. I run into people. I run into students on planes, airports, restaurants, all over the world. I keep signed copies with me. And if they say they know me, bam, I hand it to them. this is my new business card. This is my credibility. This is my message to the world, and I want to distribute it as much as possible. And when I get a chance to ask someone for an endorsement who can help me sell more of these books, damn right I'm going to do it.
Love it. Love it. Anik, this has been fantastic, man. Got one final question for you. What would be your parting tip or piece of advice for someone who's thinking about writing and publishing their first book?
I can give you some insightful advice or the most cliche advice, which was the most powerful advice. So I'm going to go with the cliche one first. Dude, seriously, do it. Okay? Stop thinking. Thinking is for those who don't do shit. And so I'm sorry to curse, but just do it. You interviewed Gary Vaynerchuk, so I can curse, right? I'm sure he dropped a few F-bombs in his interview. Just do it. What are you thinking about? I'm gonna tell you something, okay? This is a true story. I'm not making this up. And I can't tell you who I'm doing this book with, but it's a big book deal. I'm co-authoring with someone. It's a dream come true. Before this interview, I took 25 minutes to the T. I timed myself because I had to call this person 5 minutes before the interview. I had 5 minutes to call them and present to them. I wrote an entire outline. It's done. Title, subtitle, outline. When you're passionate about something, it comes out. So when you're sitting around thinking, that's an excuse. You're wasting time. Get off your butt, go to Amazon.com, see what others are doing, get inspired, write your outline, write out 4 to 5 bullet points under each chapter title, grab your freaking phone and record something and get that bad boy into a transcription and get it done. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Your first book might suck, but once you get it done, it's like it's literally like passing through a gate. You're on a whole different world at that point. And you get access to all kinds of people who can help you write your next one, who can help you write a great one. Don't do what I did. I wasted years trying to write the perfect one at first. And you know what happened? When I finally wrote it and I put my heart into it, it turns out it was the perfect one. It came out exactly like I wanted. But I wasted years doing it. So don't do that. Just get out there and do it. I know it's scary. Trust me. Been there, done that. I had sold over $100 million worth of products on the internet, and I still couldn't write a damn book. So I get it. It is scary. But it's easy too once you just once you break it down into the simplest points. I was going to give you the next tip, which is a little bit more, practical. Write an outline. It makes life so much easier. Okay. Here's how I write my outline. I start with first, if you want to do 10 chapters, great. Sit down, write out the title of each chapter. Just write that out. I have no shame in going on Amazon and other places and getting inspiration. I don't copy people. Inspiration. So don't you copy people, because that's a real big pet peeve of mine. But go and see what topics others are covering. Sometimes you get ideas from that. And write your 10 chapter titles. And then under each chapter title, write 5 bullet points. Trust me, you can do it. And if you believe you can't, you're making excuses and you're lying to yourself and everybody else. This is the easiest thing you can do. And after you have that, the book writes itself. Take my word on it. Have some faith. I promise you'll come back to me and thank me later.
Love it. That's fantastic advice, Anik. So before we head out, where can people go to find out more about you, your book, and what you're up to?
Thanks. Just go to lurn.com. It's Learn with you. LURN.com. So LURN.com. Hit up our blog. If you click onto the blog, you'll see lots of cool stuff that we do. And there is a link for the book right there. You can actually click a banner on the side, or you can go to circleofprofit.com. Grab yourself a free copy of the book. The only other thing I would say is follow me on Facebook. I do all kinds of fun videos and fun rants, and I yell at people and have a good time on Facebook. So go there, type in Anik Singal into Facebook. You'll see my page, and join me there. And I hope I can help you in the future. Chandler, it's been an absolute honor. Thank you for having me. And for those of you watching, stop watching. Go do something. Take some action. Go kick some butt. Take some names. All right, Chandler, you're an awesome dude for doing this. You're a great inspiration and just a gem of a lad for bringing such great wealth of information to everybody in the world.
Hey, I can attest to the Facebook rants and how awesome they are. So thanks for coming on, Anik.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of the Self-Publishing School podcast. I know there's so many places that you can be spending your time. There's other podcasts that you could be listening to, YouTube channels that you could be watching. So thank you so much. It means the world. Now, I want you to do 3 things right now if you found this episode helpful. All right, number 1, I don't know if you know this, but we've got a YouTube channel. It's a companion channel to this podcast. All the video versions of the episode are on the YouTube channel. So number one, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Number two, if you're listening to this podcast wherever, whether this is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, number two, I want you to subscribe to this podcast right now so you don't miss a future episode. And then number three, this is probably the most important, leave a review on the podcast. All right, reviews are super important and help the podcast get discovered by other people. So number three, leave a review on the podcast. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next episode. If you're on the fence about scheduling a publishing consultation call with my team, maybe you're not quite ready for that, I've got some free training that I think will be really helpful for you. All right, all you have to do is go to register to sign up. Go to selfpublishing.com/free training. When you do, you're also going to get a free digital copy of my new book, Published. And on that training, you're going to learn the next steps, so how to implement with your book. So how to write, how to publish, how to launch successfully. So go to register right now at selfpublishing.com/free training. I'll see you there.